14 centuries ago, history was about to change forever, not in a palace, nor on a battlefield. It began in a land the world's greatest empires barely noticed, a land many dismissed as empty desert. Rome dominated the west, Persia ruled the east, and between them lay Arabia, quiet, divided, and almost forgotten. But hidden between these mountains stood a valley Allah had chosen long before the world understood its importance. This was Makkah, where Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail, peace be upon them, raised the sacred house for Allah alone. Generations passed, pure worship faded, idols rose, tribes split, and injustice became the norm. Before revelation, one man stood apart, not by wealth or power, but by his truthfulness. They called him Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Soon, that same city rejected his message. And what happened next? Began inside a cave. Away from Makkah, he sought silence to worship Allah and reflect upon his creation. Night after night, this mountain became a place of peace and deep reflection. Within this humble cave, countless hours were spent remembering Allah. Nothing disturbed the silence except the remembrance of Allah. Then came the night Allah chose to begin the final revelation. The first verses of the Quran were revealed by Allah on this blessed night. From this mountain, Allah's guidance would reach the entire world. A new chapter for humanity had begun by the will of Allah. But the people of Makkah were not ready to accept the truth. The mountain remained silent, but nothing on earth would ever be the same. Makkah awoke like every other morning, unaware that history had changed overnight. In that home, comfort and reassurance would become the first support of the message. Allah strengthened his messenger through faith, mercy, and unwavering support. The message spread quietly, one believing heart at a time. Every revealed verse transformed hearts before it transformed the world. But not everyone welcomed a message that challenged old traditions. Soon, the call would be heard openly, and Makkah would never be the same. One by one, sincere hearts embraced Islam and quiet faith. Small gatherings became places where faith and revelation were quietly learned. Every revealed verse strengthened faith and transformed lives. Soon, whispers of the new message spread through every corner of Makkah. The leaders of Quraysh realized something was beginning to change. Their wealth and influence depended on the old beliefs surrounding the sanctuary. The message remained peaceful, but opposition continued to grow. Soon, Allah would command the message to be proclaimed openly. Makkah had no idea this day would change history forever. Then came the command to proclaim the message openly. Every clan came, wondering why they had been called. The valley fell silent as every eye turned toward the mountain. The call to worship Allah alone was heard across Makkah. Some believed, many rejected. The city would never be the same. The leaders feared losing power more than hearing the truth. Truth had been proclaimed, the test had only just begun. The believers would soon face trials that would test every heart. The message spread, and so did the hostility against those who believed. Many believers lost friends, status, and the comfort of their own community. Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him, remained steadfast, placing his complete trust in Allah despite every hardship, too. Their strength came not from numbers, but from their trust in Allah. Quraysh agreed to isolate the believers and their families. They endured years of hardship with patience and unwavering faith. Even in hardship, Allah's mercy never left his believing servants. After hardship came a journey that would change history forever. Makkah slept peacefully, unaware that history would change before dawn.
The leaders gathered, determined to silence the message forever.
By Allah's command, the journey toward Medina had begun. Allah protected his messenger in ways no army could imagine. Search parties crossed the mountains, unaware how near they truly were. No plan can overcome the protection granted by Allah. Every step carried hope toward a future only Allah knew. In Yathrib, hopeful hearts waited for the promised arrival.
A new chapter began, and the world would never be the same.
Soon, faith would become a nation, and history would witness Badr. Medina welcomed a future that would change the world. Faith united hearts beyond tribe, wealth, or family. Brotherhood replaced division with love, sacrifice, and trust. Together they built the first mosque with faith and determination. This humble mosque became the heart of a growing nation. Justice and shared responsibility united Medina's communities. Faith shaped every part of life, from worship to honest trade.
From Medina, Islam began reaching hearts across Arabia.
Peace had begun, but the first great test was drawing near. Ahead lay Badr, where faith would stand against overwhelming odds. 313 believers against nearly 1,000. News arrived of a Quraysh caravan. A journey would become a battle that changed history. They marched with faith, never knowing what awaited them at Badr. Whoever controlled the water would shape the battle ahead. Nearly 1,000 warriors advanced with confidence and overwhelming numbers. Only 313 believers stood against impossible odds. The desert fell silent as two armies faced each other. Tomorrow, faith would face its greatest test. Before sunrise, the valley of Badr waited in complete silence. Two armies stood face to face, separated only by faith and the desert. 313 believers against nearly 1,000 warriors. Their strength was never in numbers, but in complete trust in Allah. The silence ended, and the battle began. Courage met courage as the battle echoed across the valley. The desert itself seemed to rise as the battle reached its fiercest moment. By Allah's permission, the believers achieved a victory beyond imagination. Badr was only the beginning. An even greater test was waiting at Uhud. Another test awaited beneath the towering slopes of Mount Uhud. Every believer stood ready, trusting Allah above all else. A small group guarded the hill that protected the entire army. The battle began, and courage echoed across the valley. Victory seemed within reach as the enemy began to retreat. A single decision changed the course of the battle. The battlefield changed in moments as the flank was exposed. Confusion spread, but faith remained stronger than fear. Uhud taught that victory comes through faith, patience, and obedience. Greater trials were still ahead, and Medina would soon face its greatest siege. A storm was coming, and Medina stood alone. 10,000 warriors marched toward Medina with one goal: to destroy Islam forever. Medina prepared for the greatest threat it had ever faced. Together, they built a defense Arabia had never witnessed. Every moment counted. The enemy was drawing closer. One trench now stood between Medina and destruction. The coalition attacked with overwhelming confidence.
The siege had begun, and the hardest nights were still ahead.
The sky filled with arrows as neither side could cross the trench. Only a few crossed, and fierce combat erupted at the trench. Every defender held the line despite relentless attacks. Night after night, the siege tested every heart. Allah sent a mighty wind that shattered the enemy's resolve. The siege ended, and the coalition abandoned its campaign. Patience, unity, and trust in Allah protected Medina. The next victory would come through patience, not the sword. They came in peace, hoping only to worship at the sacred house. Quraysh refused to let the pilgrims enter Makkah. Days passed as both sides waited for a decision. Every word carried the weight of the future. The agreement seemed difficult for many to accept. Patience became harder than battle. Allah revealed it as a clear victory beyond what they could yet see. Peace opened doors that years of war never could. Soon, the gates of Makkah would open without a battle. 10,000 believers marched together toward Makkah in disciplined peace. Every step carried a promise that had waited for years. That night, the mountains glowed with thousands of campfires. Makkah saw the lights, and new history had arrived. The city waited in silence as dawn approached. At sunrise, Makkah would witness a victory unlike any before. The believers entered Makkah with discipline, not revenge. The city expected revenge, but witnessed restraint. One of history's greatest victories came with remarkable peace. The sacred house was restored to the worship of Allah alone. Mercy opened hearts that years of conflict never could. Makkah had become a city of peace once more. From Makkah, the message would now reach the world. The city that once rejected the message had now embraced it by Allah's will. One final journey remained, one final message for all humanity.
Soon, the final sermon would echo through history.
From every corner of Arabia, believers gathered for one final pilgrimage. Rich and poor stood together, dressed alike before Allah. Hearts were united in worship beneath the same sky. The plain of Arafah became a witness to history. Countless hearts turned to Allah in humility and hope.
On this day, Allah completed the religion for the believers. One faith united many tribes into one ummah.
Tomorrow, words would be spoken that would echo through every generation. Tens of thousands stood together, listening with complete attention. Every heart knew these words carried lasting guidance. No tribe, race, or status made one person greater than another. Justice, trust, and the rights of others were placed at the heart of the message. Hold firmly to Allah's guidance and remain united. They carried these timeless teachings to every corner of Arabia. The gathering ended, but its message would endure for generations. Soon, Medina would witness the most emotional day in its history. Medina awoke to a morning unlike any before. Concern spread gently among those closest to him. A profound silence settled over Medina. The loss was felt in every heart. The revelation remained, guiding every generation. The mission continued through those who carried it forward. His earthly mission was complete. His message lives on. His message crossed deserts, oceans, and generations, and continues to guide millions today. Peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad. Indeed, in the Messenger of Allah you have an excellent example.